Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
Our sources explain it all. For more information on upcoming shows or to suggest shows, email brianhayward2026@gmail.com. And now let's get into our show. Hayward Podworks is vision, deep dives into any topic.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we take all the complex sources you've shared and distill them into genuine, usable knowledge. Today, we're grappling with a really core paradox of modern life, and that's digital connectivity. On one hand, it's a spectacular tool. I mean, it can accelerate a business, connect you with friends all over the world, but what happens when that tool becomes a habit you can't control?
That's the exact question our sources are digging into. This whole deep dive is about social media, device addiction, and this growing need for what people are calling a digital detox. Mm-hmm. So for you, the listener, our mission is to really understand the costs of all this screen time, tablets, games, social media, and then look at the practical steps to, pull back and reconnect with your actual life.
Okay, let's start with some numbers to frame this. Our sources point to this Nielsen report, and it says the average U.S. adult spends around 11 hours.
11 hours a day.
Every single day, reading, listening, watching, interacting with media.
Just think about the math on that. I mean, you need 8 hours of sleep, right? Maybe 8 hours for work. That leaves, 3 hours for everything else? For exercise, for cooking, for your family, for just being quiet. It's no wonder everyone feels like they're out of time.
And when you look at the younger demographic, the numbers are, frankly, alarming. A poll from Common Sense Media found that 50% of teenagers, half of them say they are addicted to their phones, and 78% that they check their device every single hour.
Right. And these figures, they point to a huge behavioral pattern. And look, the official manual, the DSM-5, it doesn't call tech overuse a mental disorder just yet. But our sources are really clear. This functions just like a behavioral addiction, and it's causing real, measurable psychological, social, and physical problems.
And this is where it gets so interesting on the social side, because it almost seems like these platforms are designed to bring out the worst in us. Let's talk about anonymity. The sources point out that when people can hide their identity, it empowers them to say things.
Horrible things.
Things they would never, ever say to someone's face.
And that lack of accountability, it's like a petri dish for emotional destruction.
Yeah. You
get cyberbullying, where victims are just relentlessly attacked, sometimes from all over the world. And this isn't just, damaging self-esteem. It's directly linked to things like clinical depression, even suicidal thoughts, because it feels like there's no escape.
But the negativity isn't always a direct attack, is it? So much of it is internal. It's that constant comparison. We're just flooded with these curated, perfect, often totally fake lifestyles, the highlight reel of everyone else's life.
And that feat of perfection, it creates what the sources call a vague assessment of the meaning of life.
Which is a very clinical way of saying you start to feel like your own life just doesn't measure up.
Precisely. Your self-worth is constantly being measured against someone's perfectly filtered vacation photo. You will always come up short. It just kills contentment because you're comparing your messy, unedited real life against a version of life that doesn't actually exist for anyone, not even the person who posted it.
So if we connect that mental drain to our actual lives, you can see how the decay spreads. It goes from our own heads right into our most important relationships. Being too attached to a device means your attention is scarce. And relationships, they need quality time. They need you to be present.
It's not just about spending less time together. It's about the quality of that time.
Right.
If you're sitting with a loved one, but you're constantly glancing at your phone, you're shattering that connection into tiny little pieces. The sources gave a perfect anecdote for this. The tennis star, Andy Murray.
Oh, right.
Back in 2009, he was spending nearly 7 hours a day playing video games. 7 hours.
Wow.
And his girlfriend left him. His fame, his success, none of it mattered more than the fact that he just wasn't there. He wasn't present.
And that exact same mechanism is at play in our professional lives, isn't it? We all know we waste time on our phones, but why does that 5-minute check turn into an hour?
Well, the cognitive science here is fascinating. The research shows that every time you interrupt a task to check a notification, it takes your brain an average of 20 minutes to get back to that same level of deep focus.
20 minutes, so a 5-minute check actually costs you almost half an hour of productive time.
Exactly. It's a huge hidden time cost. So you're constantly switching contexts, which leads to rushing, divided attention, and, pretty average work. It can really jeopardize your career.
And that just destroys any idea of work-life balance.
It dissolves it completely.
The boundaries are gone. You're checking emails during dinner with your family. You're responding to texts on vacation. The office is always in your pocket.
So the mental drain is obvious. But all that sitting, scrolling, sacrificing sleep, it has to be taking a physical toll on us too.
Absolutely. The link between this digital immersion and our physical health is shockingly direct. When your brain is so focused on a screen, the effort it takes to plan and cook a healthy meal, it just feels like too much. So people just grab whatever's easy. Our sources literally say people only eat whatever they find.
And exercise becomes the first thing to go, right? It's the ultimate victim of that I'll do it later procrastination. On top of that, you have the huge impact on sleep. Social media addicts, they sleep late, they wake up early, specifically to check their phones. They're totally ignoring the 7 to 9 hour recommendation from the Sleep Foundation.
But it's not just about how long you sleep. It's the quality of the sleep itself. What's the biology behind that?
The problem is the light. The blue light from our screens is incredibly good at suppressing melatonin.
The sleep hormone.
The sleep hormone, exactly. It's the signal that tells your body, hey, it's time to wind down. So your brain literally thinks it's the middle of the day, even at 1 in the morning. And that makes it biologically much harder to get that deep, restorative sleep that you need for your brain and your body to actually repair themselves.
Okay, let's go deeper into the psychological side because this goes way beyond just general stress. We have to start with the big one, FOMO. The fear of missing out. It's this deep social anxiety, this feeling that everyone else is out there having fun and you're being left behind.
And social media is basically an engine designed to create FOMO.
Yeah.
It's an endless, curated stream of parties and trips and achievements. When you're in the grip of FOMO, you can't be present in your own life. Your mind is always somewhere else, worrying about the likes, the comments, that external validation.
And this dependence, it can spiral pretty quickly into serious conditions. The World Health Organization estimates that over 264 million people suffer from depression globally. But the key detail here is who is most affected. It's the heaviest social media users. People aged 15 to 29.
And anxiety gets layered on top of that, fueled by all these manipulated images. Intellectually, you know it's edited. You know they're only posting the highlights. But that constant comparison still grinds you down. It still makes you feel inadequate. And the irony is that real face-to-face interaction is proven to reduce anxiety. Virtual interaction is just a poor substitute.
Now, here's something from our sources that genuinely surprised me. A link to severe trauma. Tell us about Dr. Pam Ramsden's work.
Yeah, this is a fascinating study from 2015. Dr. Ramsden exposed people to the kind of disturbing images and videos that, get shared on social media. It's called secondary trauma. And the result was that over a fifth of the participants, more than 20%, showed high scores on clinical measures for PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Hang on, so let me get this straight. These people weren't at the event. They weren't first responders.
No, not at all.
They just saw this stuff scrolling on their feed, and that was enough to trigger clinical PTSD symptoms. That seems to fly in the face of everything we know about trauma.
It does. The theory is that the screen removes the normal psychological distance. It forces your brain to process this extreme emotional content without any of the usual coping mechanisms. The trauma just gets absorbed, completely unfiltered.
That raises a huge question about what all this connectivity does to our sense of self, to our individuality. Our sources talk about the concept of the hive mind. It sounds like science fiction. What does it actually mean?
It's about cognitive load. I mean, you are being bombarded with so many updates, so many trending opinions, that it becomes incredibly difficult to think for yourself. All your mental energy goes to processing what's coming in, so there's none left for independent evaluation. The result is you might find yourself hating someone just because many people on the internet hate the person. You lose your own judgment.
And finally, this environment just seems to breed low emotional intelligence. You're constantly exposed to disrespectful comments, people flaring up at the slightest provocation, and you start to get absorbed into that appalling culture.
Exactly. It normalizes impatience and disrespect. When you're in an environment where patience and dignity aren't practiced, you stop practicing them yourself. You can't really rise above the culture you're swimming in every day.
The thing about any behavioral addiction is that it can be really hard to see when you're in the middle of it. So, how do you know if you're at the point where you actually need a digital detox? Liberation has to start with some self-evaluation.
Right. And we pulled together a quick checklist from the sources, 6 key warning signs you should really ask yourself about.
Okay, number 1. Do you feel genuinely anxious, maybe even a bit panicky when you're not holding your phone or when it's turned off?
That's a classic withdrawal symptom. Your brain is missing its dopamine hit.
2. Have you gotten to a point where likes, comments, and reshares mean the world to you? Basically, your sense of value is coming almost entirely from the outside.
3. Do you regularly mess up your sleep? Staying up late or waking up early just to be on your phone?
Number 4 is about attention. Are you struggling to focus more and more? Do you suspect it's linked to constantly checking your phone? And remember, research is starting to link high-tech use with more ADHD-like symptoms.
5. Do you check your phone randomly every few minutes just to make sure you're not missing anything, even with no notification?
And number 6, maybe the most important, are you just unhappy or stressed out about the amount of time you spend on these devices?
If you answered yes to, even 1 or 2 of those, the sources suggest it's time to move from just analyzing the problem to actually doing something about it.
And the great news here is that this isn't about punishment. A detox is a serious improvement plan. The benefits are huge. For starters, you immediately reduce your risk for those psychological issues we talked about, like anxiety and that screen-induced PTSD.
And you get a massive physical lift. You create time to actually plan and cook meals. You make time for exercise. You get your sleep quality back because you're not blasting your eyes with blue light all night.
And maybe most importantly, you get your focus back. A detox gives you the clear head you need to actually be productive. Instead of scrolling, you can do something like keep a journal or work on a long-term goal.
Which brings us to a really critical, almost philosophical benefit, reclaiming your own identity. The sources bring up this idea of tabula rasa, the blank slate. A detox lets you value yourself outside of all these media constructs that you're constantly being fed.
So it's like hitting a reset button on your mental programming, making sure your values are being written by your own experiences, not by an algorithm.
That's it, exactly. You stop trying to achieve things just so you can post them online. Your sense of purpose has to come from inside you, not from likes and shares.
Okay, so how do we do it? How do we hack this addiction? The sources say to start by being practical. Limit your access. If a full week-long detox isn't realistic for you, start small.
Right, you have to remove the instant temptation. A simple hard rule. No phone in bed. That's a great first step. Or, even more radically, turn off all your social media notifications. That little bell is the trigger. If you hack the trigger, you can start to hack the habit.
And you don't have to go cold turkey. Take it one step at a time. Maybe start by just deleting one app for a week, like Facebook. Or block out specific times, like the first 2 hours of your day are screen-free.
You can also schedule what our sources call an intermittent digital fast. Maybe one day a month or a weekend, you just go completely off the grid. It's a way of proving to yourself that you are still in control of the device, not the other way around.
And this one is key. Be accountable. Tell your friends, tell your family what you're doing. If you declare that Saturdays are your screen-free day, they'll help hold you to it. It creates a support system.
And finally, you have to replace the virtual with the physical. A detox won't work if you just leave a big empty space in your day. The sources strongly recommend you use that time to physically visit friends and family. Join a club. Take up a hobby. Learn an instrument. Fill the void with something real.
In the end, regulating your digital device use is really about seizing control. It's about getting back to your true self and focusing on your own reality, not the curated realities of thousands of other people.
Precisely. We mentioned earlier that social comparison is driven by manipulation, and the source material has one last, very provocative insight on this. It says that in the virtual world, facts are boring, but lies are intriguing and exciting. The algorithm isn't built to show you what's true, it's built to show you what's engaging.
Which makes the act of disconnecting a profound act of self-discovery.
It really is. So we want to leave you with this question. If disconnecting lets you escape that pressure, escape the hive mind, and focus on your own reality, what kind of knowledge, what personal insight do you think is just lying there dormant, waiting for you to find it? We'd encourage you to stop searching for what's trending and instead go find your own boring facts that are worth knowing.
Hayward Podworks. 100 shows, one vision.
All right, this is Hayward Podworks, and that's today's episode. If this helped you, do me a favor, hit follow, leave a quick rating, and share it with one person who'd get value. Want the extras, links, and new drops? Check the show notes. Until next time, stay sharp, stay consistent, and keep building. Hayward Podworks. We'll talk soon.